Ladies and gentlemen, today I invite you on a journey not through lands or time zones, but deep into the human spirit. A journey where we don't just walk, we rise. Because the topic we're diving into is not just a phrase or a slogan, it's a transformation, a revolution of the mind. Today we speak about becoming mentally strong. You see, mental strength is not given. It's not something you inherit or stumble upon. It's forged in fire, sculpted by struggle, and polished by perseverance. It is born not in comfort, but in chaos, and it is in that chaos where we often discover our truest power. Think about this. Every single person you admire, every hero who ever stood their ground, every survivor who overcame the impossible, what they had wasn't just talent or luck. It was resilience. It was that quiet, invisible muscle that refuses to break, that steel of the spirit, that unshakable belief that no matter how hard life hits, they will rise again. That, my friends, is mental strength. But let's be real. Nobody becomes mentally strong by accident. There's no sudden moment where you wake up and feel invincible. It starts with pain. It starts with failure. It starts with moments where you doubt everything, your path, your choices, even your worth. Maybe you've been there. Maybe you're there now. Maybe you've faced rejection so loud it drowned your hopes. Maybe you've stumbled so many times that getting up feels harder every time. But here's the truth. Every time you get up, even with shaking legs and a bruised heart, you are becoming mentally stronger. Mental strength isn't about suppressing emotions. It's not about pretending to be okay when you're not. It's about facing your reality, owning it, and saying, yes, this hurts. Yes, I'm scared, but no, I'm not giving up. It's about using pain as fuel, not as chains. It's about turning every tear into a lesson, every scar into a badge, and every setback into a setup for a comeback. We live in a world that glorifies comfort. We chase ease. We want the shortcut, the hack, the quick fix. But real strength doesn't come from ease. It comes from endurance. It comes from walking through the storm, soaked and cold, and still refusing to stop. Mental strength is when you show up on the days when everything in you screams to stay down. It's when you choose courage over comfort, discipline over desire, purpose over popularity. And don't let anyone tell you that being mentally strong means being emotionless. That's a lie. The strongest people feel deeply. They cry, they break, but they also rebuild. They also believe. They also bounce back, harder and wiser. Because mental strength is not about avoiding struggle. It's about embracing it. It's about being so deeply rooted in your values, so grounded in your purpose, that no storm can uproot you. You want to become mentally strong? Then start with your thoughts. Guard them like a treasure, because they shape your world. If you constantly feed your mind with doubt, you will live in fear. But if you feed it with hope, with courage, with belief, then even in darkness, you'll find light. Speak to yourself like someone you love. Be your own biggest supporter, because the world won't always be kind. The world will test you. People will leave. Plans will fail. But if your inner world is strong, nothing external can truly shake you. And yes, part of becoming mentally strong is letting go. Letting go of what doesn't serve you. Letting go of toxic patterns, destructive habits, people who drain your energy. It's about setting boundaries. It's about saying no without guilt and yes without fear. It's about prioritizing peace over pressure, growth over comfort, healing over hiding. Let me tell you something powerful. You are allowed to outgrow people. You are allowed to walk away from situations that suffocate your soul. You are allowed to change, to evolve, to become. Because mental strength also means choosing yourself, not in a selfish way, but in a sacred way. Choosing your sanity, your values, your future. But the road to mental strength is not a straight line. You will stumble, you will relapse, you will question everything, and that's okay. Progress is not perfection, growth is messy, healing takes time. Be patient with yourself. Celebrate small wins. Every time you choose to get out of bed when depression tells you not to, every time you breathe through anxiety instead of running from it, you are winning. You are building resilience brick by brick. Do you know what else makes you mentally strong? Gratitude. Not the fluffy kind, but the fierce kind. The kind that says, I may not have everything I want, but I honor what I have. The kind that looks at pain and says, thank you for the lesson. Gratitude shifts your focus. It moves you from victim to victor. It trains your brain to see possibilities, not just problems. And that perspective, that shift, is power. And let's talk about discipline. Because mental strength is not just about feelings. It's about follow-through. It's about doing what needs to be done, even when you don't feel like it. It's about keeping promises to yourself, building trust with yourself. Because the more you trust your own word, the more unstoppable you become. When you say I will and actually do, that's power, that's integrity. That's how you become someone your future self can rely on. But perhaps the greatest mark of mental strength is compassion, not just for others, but for yourself. We are so good at beating ourselves up, aren't we? We call ourselves lazy, broken, not enough. But if your friends spoke to themselves the way you do, wouldn't you tell them to stop? Wouldn't you remind them of their worth? So why not do the same for yourself? You're not weak for needing rest. You're not a failure for falling. You're not unworthy because you're still healing. You're human, and being mentally strong means embracing that humanity fully. You see, becoming mentally strong is not a destination. It's a daily decision. It's waking up each day and choosing to try again, to believe again, to push forward even if yesterday broke you. And no, you don't have to have it all figured out. You don't have to wear a cape. You just have to keep going. One step, one breath, one choice at a time. So here's what I want to say to you. From one fighter to another, you are stronger than you think. You have survived 100% of your worst days. You've carried pain no one saw and still showed up. That's strength. You've chosen love after heartbreak, trust after betrayal, joy after grief. That's strength. You've rebuilt from ashes, dreamed again after disappointment, laughed again after loss. That is the very definition of strength. And maybe your story isn't wrapped in gold. Maybe it's filled with scars, silence, and survival. But that doesn't make it less beautiful. It makes it real. It makes it raw, and it makes you relatable. Because this world doesn't need more perfect people. It needs more authentic ones. More people who can say, yes, I've been broken, but I rebuilt, and now I shine. So if today you're struggling, if you're wondering how to keep going, let this be your reminder. You were not meant to stay small. You were not meant to live in fear. You were not meant to break and stay broken. You were made for more. You were made to rise, to fight, to overcome, to inspire. And your journey, every messy, magical part of it, is preparing you for something greater. Don't compare your path to anyone else's. Don't measure your strength by someone else's highlight reel. Your battles are yours, and your victory will be yours too. Keep your eyes on your growth. Keep your heart on your purpose. And know that every challenge you face is not a wall. It's a doorway, a test, a teacher. The fire you're walking through, it's forging something unshakable. The pressure you're under, it's shaping a diamond. And the pain you're carrying, it's planting seeds of power that will one day bloom into something beautiful. So rise, even if you rise slowly, even if you rise alone, rise with all you've got, because the world needs your strength, your voice, your courage. You didn't come this far to give up. You came to break through, to become, to blaze a trail that others will follow. Because you are becoming mentally strong, not by pretending to be fearless, but by facing fear and moving forward anyway. Not by having all the answers, but by asking the right questions. Not by being perfect, but by being persistent. So stand tall, breathe deep, and keep walking, keep believing, keep growing. Your strength is already inside you. It's not in some far-off finish line. It's in every choice you make, every time you refuse to quit, every time you rise. And when the world doubts you, let them. When fear whispers, face it. When pain comes, welcome it as a teacher. And when triumph finally comes, because it will, wear it not with arrogance, but with grace. Because you earned it, you built it, you became it. You became mentally strong. And that changes everything. Thank you.